Morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are watching this video. My name is Blessing Akan, and as usual, this morning I bring to you some of the headlines I felt it is worth knowing. Okay, kindly watch this video to the end. Don't forget that I love you. I am loyal to Tinubu, but my actions are mine, says Obasa. And the writer says ex-speaker takes over assembly with 4 lawmakers. Another writer says Miranda's fate uncertain, 36 lawmakers key. That is our big news today from the Punch newspaper, and this news is on page 2 and 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Again, we have another story here which says new petrol price reduction. Buy from our partners' retail outlet nationwide at the following prices. 860 naira, 865 Lagos, 865 Lagos, APMRS and Hayden. In fact, I don't know. My question is, why is it that our fuel price cannot go down to as little as 200 naira? Like, what is the problem? Why are we importing fuel? Because God has blessed Nigeria so much, I can't imagine why we should be importing fuel. So if the price of fuel reduced from 1,000 something to 800, and I don't think it's something we should rejoice about, because it is not still easy with a common man as a result of the high cost of petrol. It is affecting transportation and a lot of businesses. Okay. God will not come down to help us in Nigeria. That's just the truth. We need to start changing our culture, our attitude. Our leaders should start doing the right thing. We have another story here which says Ramadan, Southern alert Muslims on Moon, Bauchi, Kebbi school shot, and the story is on page 43 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Again, we have another story here which says driver handed Oyo copper to kidnappers. You can imagine. That story is on page 4 and 6 of the Punch newspaper, and this is a sad one, I tell you. Again, we have another story here which says a Nigerian passenger stranded in Togo after Air France flight diversion, and that story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And again, we have another story here which says an NLC shelves protest as subscribers welcome 35% tariff hike. That story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Again, we have another story here which says a 500 million naira gift. I rejected 500 million naira gift during my mother's burial, says EFCC chair. Congratulations to you. The story is on page 42 of the Punch newspaper this morning. I don't know why this should be a news, but then it's fine. Is Nigeria. Again, we have another story here which says Natasha threatens to expose Akpabio as group petitions Senate. The story is on page 43 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Honestly, I am not happy with what is going on in our red chamber. These are leaders we voted for. These are leaders that should lead by example. I don't know what is going on in the Senate, changing of seats, all this interrogation, train of words and all that. It's becoming so unbearable and so annoying. I think our leaders should come together and find a solution to their problems without making themselves look somehow before the public, just like that. Honestly, it is not good. Again, we have another story here which says that consumers kick as federal government plans fresh power tariff hike, and that story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper this morning. These are the headlines we have today from the Punch newspaper, and I think we just have one big news today from Al Jazeera newspaper which says why Wike okayed 50% tariff hike. That story is on page 9 of Al Jazeera newspaper, Al Jazeera newspaper this morning. Yes, and again we have there's another one here which says open letter to His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Federal Republic of Nigeria. That story is on page 2 of Al Jazeera newspaper this morning. I honestly love watching news and music because it makes me to know what is happening in my dear country, Nigeria, and of course across the world. Like I always tell you, it is very important for us to keep abreast of what is happening in our country, and it is good for us